The Chris Tyson situation has taken a turn for the worse. Over the course of a week, Chris found himself at the receiving end of an immense amount of backlash from various corners of the internet. The criticisms were not only directed at his coming out as transgender, but also at the numerous old tweets that supposedly exposed him as an Islamophobe, a pedophile, and a racist. However, before we dive into the potential repercussions for Chris Tyson's family in result of his transformation, let's first recount the events leading up to the drama. During the middle of 2022, fans started noticing visible changes in Chris's appearance. In the early MrBeast days, Chris represented the stereotypical truck driving and gun shooting masculine figure within the MrBeast crew. So when he began to adopt increasingly more feminine characteristics, the public's reaction was a mixture of surprise, disbelief, and confusion. The transformation started subtly with Chris tweeting, "I finally got my nails done at Nail Tech." However, over the next few months, changes became more pronounced as he grew his hair longer and maintained a clean-shaven look. This was accompanied by other tweets of Chris pointing out the striking difference in his facial features since the beginning of the pandemic. Additionally, Chris's feminine characteristics were prominently displayed in a number of MrBeast videos. For example, on the 1st of April 2023, MrBeast uploaded a video titled $1 versus $500,000 plane ticket featuring Chris dressed in feminine attire with his hair styled in a bun, leading to comments such as "What the heck is that thing?" as well as unsubscribed, unfollowed, and unbeasted. However, it wouldn't be until the 4th of April when things began to take a massive turn. The entire controversy surrounding Chris Tyson just so happened to be triggered by this single tweet that captured the attention of over 60 million viewers, prompting Chris to reply with a tweet reading, "Hormone replacement therapy, and it's only been 2 months." Chris would expand on this by tweeting, "Informed consent HRT saved my and many others' lives. The hurdles GNC people have to jump through to get life-saving gender-affirming healthcare in a first-world country is wild to me. Just let people make informed decisions about their own bodies," which was obviously met with countless negative comments. "I feel bad for his wife and son. What a downfall. This is what a disgrace looks like." While there were those who absolutely despised Chris's decision, others are fully supportive of him, such as Carla Nolan, who wrote, "Holy smokes, I'm proud of you," in which Chris would reply, "Nolan, please never change." However, although the boys showed unwavering support by motivating Chris to chase his dreams, others already began pointing out a noticeable shift in the dynamics of MrBeast's videos. For instance, during a particular livestream in which the crew unboxed 1,000 mystery art boxes from fans, Chris once again showed up wearing predominantly feminine clothing, and everyone partook in the event as usual. However, a considerable number of viewers couldn't help but notice that the overall atmosphere within the video seemed somewhat different than what they were accustomed to. It seemed as though each member was preoccupied with appearing normal and maintaining the status quo, which made them overly self-conscious rather than being absorbed in their interactions with both the team and the audience. Consequently, this observation sparked yet another flurry of TikTok posts, further drawing attention to the matter. Now, perhaps one could argue that the nature of a livestream might have inadvertently emphasized awkward moments, given that there are no opportunities to make edits or eliminate any imperfections from the video. Yet nonetheless, there were moments when the crew seemed to create a sense of awkwardness themselves, such as when they randomly began paying each other compliments on their clothing.
"Hey, nice shirt." "Thanks, dude, nice shirt."
"Hey, nice shirt."
"Thanks, dude, nice shirt."
"Thanks, nice shirt."
"Nice shoes."
Oh, wow, he's different.
Unfortunately, the entire situation put MrBeast in a difficult position, as supporting Chris's orientation could potentially alienate a significant portion of his audience, while not supporting Chris could label him as transphobic. Jimmy found himself in a seemingly no-win scenario. Yet one possible approach to navigate the controversy with receiving minimal backlash could be to give Chris a temporary break from social media, allowing time for the online uproar to subside before including him in future videos. A portion of the criticism directed at Chris was not solely based on his coming out as transgender, but also focused on numerous old tweets and videos that seemingly exposed him as an Islamophobe, a pedophile, and a racist. The controversy began when a tweet attributed to Chris surfaced on the internet, which appeared to praise loli, a term referring to young anime characters depicted in romantic or sexual contexts. The tweet understandably garnered significant backlash. However, all of this would be debunked as the tweets were simply taken out of context. Additionally, various theories have been circulating in an attempt to explain the cause of Chris Tyson's transformation. One prevalent theory popular among fans is the so-called Carl effect. At the heart of this theory lies the speculation that during their nearly 5-year-long friendship, Carl may have inadvertently played a role in Chris's sexual orientation shift, given his effeminate demeanor and his LGBTQ-oriented self-presentation. However, this doesn't really make sense, as Chris had come out as bisexual long before Carl was introduced to the MrBeast crew. Chris would eventually debunk the remaining misinformation with a tweet reading, "The Carl effect while it lasted was funny to me, because even though Carl is a great friend, y'all think he's my type. I'm into way taller than me, ripped and quiet. Every time I had to see someone talk about me and Carl dating, I was like, oh, they just don't have any clue, LMAO." This tweet would also be met with more criticism. Bro literally has a wife and a child. Now, part of the reason the backlash Chris was receiving was incredibly harsh was not merely because of his sexual orientation, but the supposed harmful effects this had on his family. In May 2018, Chris Tyson would publicly announce his marriage to Katie Tyson before welcoming their first child named Tucker in 2020. Throughout their marriage, they frequently shared their family pictures on Instagram and seemed to have a strong relationship. However, at the end of 2021, things took a turn and the relationship started showing signs of strain. For example, on the 25th of November 2021, Chris would post a photo of Katie, Tucker, and himself. However, little did we know that this would mark the last family photo seen on his Instagram. Additionally, Chris would post another picture on the 19th of March 2022, where he was notably seen without his wedding ring, further fueling speculation about the state of his marriage. Chris eventually confirmed these speculations on the 29th of March with a tweet reading, "For a little over a year now, me and Katie have been separated. We are finalizing things soon, but these things take time. We like to keep our personal lives private, which a lot of people don't understand because we share so much. But this is the only time I want to discuss it." Interestingly enough, the timeline of Chris's announcement regarding his separation from Katie perfectly coincides with his first post revealing that he had painted his nails. This has led to widespread speculation that Chris's sexuality may have contributed to the deterioration of his relationship with Katie, and by extension, potentially impacted Tucker's future well-being. There goes a father figure the kid won't ever be able to look up to. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times, weak man times. This would prompt Chris to reply with, "This is just more dog whistling that somehow trans and GNC folks aren't safe around kids. Tucker begs for me to come back when I leave for like 2 days to film. He is so loved and happy. Kids aren't born with hate, it's taught by people like you, and my child would only know love. I know I'm going to be a great parent, and so is every person who puts the love of their child before everything. I made this decision because I wanted to show up as my best and happiest self for him. In a way, this was for Tucker," which obviously led to more backlash. You ripped apart your family and took a father figure away from your son just so you could paint your nails and act zesty. Pathetic. Now, perhaps Chris trying to act zesty could have potentially contributed to the separation between the two. However, without knowing the complete backstory and the specific factors leading to their divorce, it is difficult to determine the leading cause. Regardless, when addressing the argument that Chris stripped Tucker of a real father figure, the fundamental issue with this notion is that having a transgender parent does not inherently negatively impact a child's well-being. For example, a 2020 study published by the National Library of Medicine investigated 5 families with at least one transgender parent, one cisgender parent, and one child. These families underwent a series of interviews and assessments, which ultimately revealed that parents and children in transparent families had good quality relationships, and children showed good psychological adjustment. Furthermore, another 2020 NLM study showed that the psycho-emotional development of children with transgender fathers is considered, quote, good, showing no significant difference between these children and those of controlled groups. Thus, the argument that Chris coming out as transgender deprives Tucker of a father figure and negatively affects his well-being is not supported by these studies. However, it is essential to note that while being transgender will not directly affect Tucker, the consequences of this decision might have contributed to the divorce, which in turn will potentially impact Tucker's well-being.